Um, because of your functions, you have a global vision of what's happening. Do you see a geo-strategy of IP? What is changing in the world right now? Who is speaking the loudest? We heard about the IP5. What is your own experience on the ground?
Our experience is we deploy considerable sums in European technologies of year in, year out, about 3 to 5 billion, depending on how you count them, in early stage technologies, early stage companies. We have recently become aware that probably our main exposure is to IP, even though we hadn't realized until 2 or 3 years ago, and so have relatively rapidly built an awareness of where we're going. What we're looking at is a number of things from the EAF. First is the world of IP today operates often as a world of incumbents, and so that means large companies mostly. In terms of the economic actors, whereas we're mostly involved with public research organizations and small companies. So there's a big, paradigm change probably in the next 5 years to be thought through and achieved in terms of supporting the needs of SMEs, small companies, and public research. Secondly, in terms of European perspective, probably in the next 5 years, there are 2 key areas to watch. First is, where is China going to go to? Is it going to go the way of the US, or is it going to go the way of Europe? What are going to be their what is going to be their main strategy in the next 5, maybe 10 years? And that depends on their demographics, their economic growth, and the ability they have in churning out what is now a huge research capability into true innovation and valuable IP. So that's one area we're watching carefully, because we also see that in our underlying portfolio, we lose a lot to both Asian and US companies, and there's a lot of leakage in what we do. The second one is probably the American Invent Act. How is that going to affect both how the US itself handles the issue of IP, but equally what impact that has worldwide, including for Europe. And lastly, the unitary patent, and we're hoping there will be the first such patent in 2000 and I think early 2014, but you probably will mention that later. We are watching with some worry the fact that we may end up with a unitary patent which is still too costly and not effective enough. So, but that is being developed as we speak. So there may be a political win in terms of having a unitary patent, but is it going to be a business win? We're watching that carefully as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Jacques. So again, key pointers, the accent on SMEs. We heard from the discussion this morning that indeed some of the market mechanisms may be seen as discriminating between small players and big players, and addressing the needs of SMEs within Europe is a challenge, but also recognized as a priority. I would add, in the absence of a Small Business Act, it's slightly more difficult, but that may be another debate.